Hi, this is Gil Robles. So what I have here is a sketch that I did on my lunch hour. I have made it a habit that every day on my job, on my lunch hour, what I would do is close the door and just spend that hour sketching. I would sit down. I'd either have a sketch pad like I have here, or I would grab just any loose paper that happens to be in the area, and just sit down and just start sketching. Usually with a pencil. In this case, this is going to be a watercolor. I started bringing my watercolors to work with me. Just a small tin with a few colors. I think like 12 colors, and then a couple of brushes. I was using these, I think they're called Nige brushes, and those are the brushes that you can fill with water. You kind of squeeze it out of it, and they're really great brushes to use. Like if you're working with water soluble pencils or watercolor pencils, and you can use the water from that to squeeze the water out of the brush. But I'm going to use the brush as I would a watercolor brush. But this is my lunch hour. This is what I do every lunch hour. I sketch. I have a small drive that I plug into my computer where I have where I keep a bunch of photo references. This is a drawing where I'm working on a picture of myself, actually. So this is a self-portrait. But yeah, I just keep these on my drive, and then what I do is I select one that I want to work from on for that hour, and or else, like if I'm working with a pencil and I'm just sketching, I'll sketch from my imagination, and a lot of times I'll think of something that I've read, like I like Edgar Allan Poe a lot, so I would think of an Edgar Allan Poe story, or something like it's seasonal, so I would think of, as we're coming, seasonal. I think I'm saying is we're coming towards the Christmas holidays and so forth. I start thinking of things like A Christmas Carol, and I start illustrating the characters, or making sketches of the characters from those stories. So this happens to be again just a photo reference, and a lot of times, this may be the only time I get to sketch this day. But I make sure that I have this time to sketch. So that's why it's very important for me that I have this time, and I do this daily, because it keeps my hand moving. That's one thing, and it also helps me to focus on this one hour that I do have to paint. 1 hour may not seem like a lot of time, but it's amazing that if you when you're just focused on doing one thing, what you can accomplish in that 1 hour. Like if usually with these pencil sketches that I do from my imagination, I make several, and or I could make one where it's really concentrated, and I'm trying to resolve it, like I'm trying to resolve this watercolor. And I've done sketches like that on my job. Other times, it's just a bunch of quick studies where I'm just doing a bunch of sketches, either from my imagination, or I could do it from photos. I can just have the time to do several. Well, the time's always the same, as a matter of fact, but there are times where things seem to flow better than others. And but it's still that 1 hour that I have. Sometimes this particular watercolor sketch took the whole hour. It took a little bit above the hour, but I got it done within that time span. Other times it would take maybe 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And just depending on how complex the reference is. I don't know. Actually, I don't know, because that really doesn't seem to matter. What matters is, I guess, what I'm feeling that day. The most important thing for me though is to get that time in, and to make sure it's not cheap. Like I do throw a lot of these quick sketches out. Some of them are just terrible, but they're not terrible because I didn't try hard. They're just terrible because that was just my state of mind at the time, I guess, or whatever. Or I there are times there were signs of struggle. Just trying to be the best. But there's a good reason that you toss stuff out, and there's a bad reason that you toss stuff out. The good reason is that you tried your best, and this is just where you're at the present time. So that one bad drawing is just a lead-in to the next things that you're going to do that would be even better. But then there's the bad drawing, which is really just either out of laziness or lack of effort that you make a bad drawing. And those are the ones that I try very hard not to do. That usually when I have this time that I sketch in the afternoon, I'm pumped up. I'm excited about this time that I'm going to spend sketching, and I look forward to it. So I never really have that problem as far as just a lack of enthusiasm, or just not really just a lazy attitude towards the sketch. So whatever mistakes I make are mistakes that are based on the best that I can do at the time. So the mistakes just reveal my weaknesses and the things that I need to work on, and I can discard it. And then the next, just keep in mind that the next thing I do needs to be like a continuation of my efforts from the last sketch. So in that way, I'll continue to improve and that's what the sketching is for. The sketching is really just an opportunity to improve what it is that I do, to perfect my craft, to work at what I do, and I believe that's important. And I've heard people say that that's really not important. You should work when you want to work, and when the mood strikes you, and so forth. I don't believe that. I believe that just like other things that require discipline, other things in the arts, whether it be dancing or music or whatever, that it involves practice. It involves getting good at what it is that you do. So I think that watercolor or drawing or painting or whatever it is that you do requires that you practice, that you get familiar with the medium, that you understand it, that you're able to use it better every time, and not just and not just the medium, because the medium is what you use to produce your image. Your image could be boring, it could be useless, it could be just uninteresting. So what you put down is just as important as trying to master whatever it is you're using to put it down with. So I try to make what I do interesting. Basically, if I have no interest in it, I just really wouldn't. I really wouldn't bother with the sketch. So I try to pick up something that I think would be interesting, or would be a challenge, or would be, would take me a little bit further from where I was at when I started, so that the time spent would be worth my while, because I would have gained something from having done it. Would have learned something from that can continue and go into the next things that I do. So anyway, this is a quick sketch, a quick watercolor sketch. I intend to do more of these on my job, different sketches, maybe different mediums, and share them. So until next time, I will be back with another watercolor. Bye bye. Or another sketch with whatever medium. All right. Bye bye.